Two will enter. One will win. Welcome to the fight. Welcome to the knockout.
Welcome everyone to episode 7 of the Knockout. This is a very exciting matchup, one I've been looking forward to. Green Goblin versus Black Adam. It's green versus black, god versus a guy who claims to be a god. So you never know where this fight will end up. After all, Mr. Freeze did win last time, beating Dormammu. So anything is possible, especially with the right people in the chat and the right followers, honestly, of these contestants. So I look forward to this very much. Please welcome the first time on Instagram, or not Instagram, but first time on YouTube and all that, Stu with Dr. Doom. Welcome. How's it going?
It's going well, Matt. Thank you very much for having me tonight. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate. Look forward to it. Look forward to your arguments on Green Goblin. It's going to be very hard not to play favorites. I'm a big Spider-Man fan. So with the complete collection.
I encourage the bias.
So, well, I don't vote. So I might be arguing with you a little more than normal, but I don't vote unless there's a tie. I'm the vice president of the Senate. That's my role. Awesome. And please welcome the other end of the argument, Black Adam, argued by Carlos Collects Comics. Welcome, man. How's it going?
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Thanks for having me on, Matt. I'm very excited. Stu, man, I'm looking forward to this. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm saying hi to Weapon X here in the chat here. So, last I saw on the voting poll, which I try not to peek too often, you guys were neck and neck on voting. So it all depends on who comes in the chat here, who's and just who can spam their voting link the most, obviously. So I look forward to this very much. So as the usual rule, Carlos showed up first. He voted to receive the football. So Green Goblin will actually get the first throw of the pumpkin bomb. So I look forward to your guys' arguments and discussions. Is there any questions before we start this fun show here?
No, I think I'm all set.
Awesome. Carlos, you the same?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm already seeing the they're already going for Green Goblin. What's up, Weapon X and El Green? Good to see you guys.
Yeah, all right. So don't worry, I'm gonna get this thing set up one more time. Oops, not vote here. Good thing I don't have to learn how to spell to host a show. Awesome. All right. So we're gonna kick things off with again Green Goblin. So begin your opening statement.
All right. Obviously, Norman needs really no introduction. First appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 14, July 64. In my argument, or in my perspective, he is Spidey's greatest rogue. I know, you got Doc Ock and Venom up there, but to me, nobody's really made Peter's life more of a living hell than Norman Osborn. He's had, Shakespearean-esque portrayals across all mediums. He's immortal. He's one of the greatest villains of all time, be it Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery or just Marvel villains in general. He has an unquestionable ability to make your life full on living hell if he turns his gaze on you. He twists, mangles, and manipulates anything and anyone in pursuit of his ends. Given his history with not only Oscorp, but Stark Tech, Skrull Tech, that he both acquired and used during the Dark Reign days, he can potentially bring a nearly endless galactic class arsenal of weapons and resources to a fight, as well as the ability to transform himself physically into something, more than formidable, as we've seen on more than one occasion. He's a psychotic genius, huge box of toys, and that's what I'm going to lean into heavily here: his intellect, his resources. I just want to say, for the sake of my opinion, I'm not going to act like traditional Green Goblin in a circus outfit with a dozen pumpkin bombs, it wouldn't be torn apart by Black Adam in less than a heartbeat. So my argument is kind of constructed with tangible events in both the comic books, and the movies if I need to, that I can point to, reference, and use as hard evidence to build my case, not only, throughout Osborn's comic book history, story, career timeline, but also Black Adam's, his defeats, moments of his weaknesses. So that's what I did, and it was really fun, kind of learning about both of these guys some more, and building my argument that way. So that's my intro, and I will leave it to Carlos.
Well done, intro. Well done, intro. Always love having these fun arguments. So, all right. Please welcome Carlos with your opening statement.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Man, I'm excited about being here, and I'm looking forward to. That was a great opening statement, Stu. Lots of cool stuff laid out in there, and I definitely agree that the Green Goblin that we know today is definitely much more formidable. So, just a couple of quick notes. I'll keep it brief. With Black Adam, because I think he's been in the public eye recently, and we've seen some bits and pieces of him from the recent film, but he's also been in the comic books of late as well. So Black Adam first appeared in Marvel Family #1 by Fawcett Publications. As I think many will know already, he is the alter ego, the yin to the yang of Shazam, or formerly known as Captain Marvel. And so a lot of the power set that I'm going to be looking at is directly correspondent to what we see in Shazam and those powers that we've seen. And so we've seen that, strength level is right up there with, as I'm going to explore later, with Superman, Shazam, Power Girl, many of the most powerful characters in the DC universe. His other lesser considered powers as well. He's got the power of flight. He has the power of super speed. He once beat the Jay Garrick version of Flash and would have beaten him. Honestly, I think if it hadn't been the Flash's comic book. So he has that as well. He does have the ability to do a thunderclap, which can flatten or floor whole cities, as well as in one instance in a comic book, he took out Power Girl that way. He's also withstood the eye blasts from a Kryptonian, which that's like super high level power there. But in addition to that, the interesting thing about Black Adam is sometimes he's portrayed as an anti-hero. So he does have a code. Now in this matchup, that could be seen as a little bit of a weakness. However, I don't know. We're gonna see how that goes, but I do think that his intellect, while it's not to the level of Norman Osborn, he definitely has a high level intellect because he has to rule a nation. He rules the nation of Kahndaq, and he's been shown as a just ruler, if a somewhat cruel ruler, and he is willing to take things extreme. So he will not hold back in he will not hold back in the way we might think that he might. So just a couple of things about him. I will also mention this because I had it. The second appearance of him in an original story was in Shazam #28. And so, just want to put that out there that he's been around for a little while and is a fun character. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how he stacks up against Green Goblin.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I look forward to that. And point of order by the host. They said this is an all villains league and all that. So yeah, he might be an anti-hero, he might be a good guy, but for the sake of arguments and all that, the
Yes.
villainy aspect is what we're gonna do. So if I was knowing the rules and I was voting, I would count any heroish behavior as potentially irrelevant or even a negative. But that was my opinion. Everyone's welcome to their own.
Let's embrace those body counts.
Yes.
Right.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Awesome. All right. Well, let me get you guys back over your perspective thumbnails like I have things set up because I like to be down here in the center. Awesome. All right. Well, we're down to the sake of argument. So we're going to start. I'm going to show my little bit of bias. Again, a little bit of bias. We're going to start with the Green Goblin here. How is Norman Osborn going to stack up ultimately against the Black Adam? I mean, technically speaking, he is a mortal man. I mean, even though Lex Luthor is Superman's greatest enemy and he is human, so you don't necessarily have to be all powerful to go up against a all powerful being. So, how is Green Goblin going to handle the Man in Black?
No, I mean, grabbing the baton from you, I think we'll start there. How are we going to protect that mortal coil? I think for this, I was really inspired by Thunderbolts, Warren Ellis, Norman Osborn, where he's leading the Thunderbolts. He's at the head of Hammer. He's the Iron Patriot. So I think first and foremost, you got to put him in Stark Tech. He's got to be in some form of the Iron Patriot costume. He's still. So I'm looking at I'm pulling from everything up to Norman's history up to present day. I'm pulling from all of these things, and I have like that is my amalgam battle plan. So I'm definitely grabbing the Iron Patriot suit and putting him inside that. I think you have to accentuate that with some scroll tech upgrades. I tried to find information on it that's been mentioned more than once, but it's very vague. But scrolls do have magic dampening technology. When I tried to really get specifics on it, it was hard to do. But that was obviously something that I'd be interested in if I was Norman Osborn trying to go up against the ultimate. This guy is you gotta prepare every type of way. So I think Norman is going to be full on scheming behind the scenes first to get and all tech, any and all blueprints, things like that. One thing I did find that I thought would pair well with the Iron Patriot suit in 2008, Peter Tomasi, I don't know how to pronounce it, who wrote great Superman run, wrote Black Adam: The Dark Age, in which he was shot with a bullet tipped with the Rock of Eternity. So that's a light bulb to me. Well, how would you get your hands on the Rock of Eternity and enough Rock of Eternity to weaponize it? And then I thought maybe, Norman would do something like creep up on the Shazam family coming home from school and kidnap a couple of kids, maybe cut one of their tongues out so they can never use their powers again. Get Billy to take him to the Rock of Eternity and try to, ultimately, in my ultimate homicidal fantasy was he gets his hands on the Rock of Eternity, grounds it down, weaponizes it into pumpkin bombs that he can, he can pack with aerosol spray and try to weaken Black Adam in a hand-to-hand fight, because we know it's coming hand-to-hand. Black Adam, that's how he deals with situations. So that's the show we try to wrap him in. The Iron Patriot suit, we never really got the schematics on everything that suit could do. With some scroll tech upgrades, because we know he was torturing scrolls after he took out the Queen. And then I think, protect him inside, we need to have some type of he needs to be in the Red Goblin, the Carnage symbiote suit. He could even be some form of this dude from the Spider-Verse. Yeah. But maybe he synthesizes the Goblin formula so he's not just some dumb brute. If he could be this size with the Iron Patriot suit on, then we're talking about a problem. So ultimately, my hope is that we can weaken Black Adam with some pumpkin bomb, Rock of Eternity grenades. We can break his jaw so he can't call down any magic, and we can go from there. There's a couple other backup plans, but this was my strongest plan A that I could come up with to try to bring a bit of a fight to Black Adam.
Interesting. And I've in Dr. Doom's fan club bringing my very first, I think, R rating onto the knockout here, talking about cutting out tongues. So
Yeah,
no, it's I don't care. It was kind of funny.
Yeah,
it was kind of funny.
That was impressive.
Yes. All right.
I wanted to paint a comic book picture, and I could see Norman gleefully doing that.
Yeah. All right, Carlos. What does Adam respond with?
All right, yeah. So I think when it comes to Black Adam, I believe that he's up close and personal, but I also think he does have enough strategy that his first the first salvo really, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my little slideshows. I'm gonna do the slideshow real quick, and then I'll leave it, and then it can be like, I guess, hidden again, if
Right.
you can bring it live. And okay, so I grabbed a couple of comic panels here, that I wanted to showcase. This first one is a comic panel in which Black Adam breaks and dislocates Shazam's arm. So this is just demonstrating the immense strength that he's dealing with, and that's going to come into play when I lay out the strategy that he's going to use to approach Green Goblin. Next slide here, we see him going head to head with Superman. Well, we know that Superman is the heaviest of heavy hitters in DC Comics. So, we've seen him go toe to toe with Thor. So we know that he's at least Thor level class in terms of strength. And, just to kind of take it over into the Marvel realm. Here is when he took Power Girl's eye beams head on and they didn't kill him. Then here is where he took on Martian Manhunter and he was actually able to withstand Martian Manhunter's telepathic attack and then turn it around on him, which shows immense willpower and the ability to combat that type, like any kind of mental assault. Last here is this is Shazam trying to get him to, just begging him to stop the fighting because they've done so much damage. Let me see what else. Yeah, and so this last one I pulled up to show, even though this was not the full roster that he went up against, this is the entire JSA trying to take on Black Adam in a fight, and you don't just have like these aren't small caliber people going up against him. You've got Hawkman, you've got the Jay Garrick Flash, and you've got Power Girl, as well as Hawk Girl and the rest of the league, or the society, and that's a pretty stacked group right there. But as if that weren't enough, in addition, in comic books, he's actually at one point taken on the Justice Society, the Justice League, and the Teen Titans all at once. So yes, I just want to put that out there, just kind of as the bedrock foundation, because and I don't have the thunderclap screenshot. I thought I did, but I don't. But we can go ahead and drop it if you want to now.
Well, I can't give you a thunderclap, but I can give you this.
nice. All right, so I think if I were,
can I request that at like random times, like just throughout the show?
Yeah.
The approach I would take as Black Adam would be to do the thunderclap from a distance, which would floor Norman regardless of what he's wearing. Use the super speed to fly in and do a quick couple of rib punches through the armor, and get some gooey mess on the inside, and then just keep flying right through, not through him, but through past him. So I think with the combination of the speed, the distance attack of the thunderclap, and then the strength to be able to punch through the armor, because I really do think his strength levels are, like John's Comics with Kids says, it's impossible to underestimate his strength, because I really don't think we've seen an upper end to it. And so I think however the armor was configured or modified, even with Skrull tech, I still think that if he got enough of a head of steam and was able to do a couple of double punches, and I foresee him flying in and zooming right by 2 punches to the rib cage, and then keep going, and then come back up, hit him with another thunderclap. I actually, to be honest, I wouldn't have, because of all the array of stuff that Green Goblin has at his disposal, I actually wouldn't have Black Adam trying to go in close until it was for the finish, because I think that there's just too many. Yeah, I mean, the guy is devious, and he's genius level. And like somebody in the chat pointed out, he's like an evil Tony Stark, and Stark is way too formidable to get in close with. As much as now, the one thing is if I think if Black Adam got so angry, which that can happen to him, like got so emotionally drawn into it, he might go in for close and become susceptible. But I wouldn't save. I would actually save the lightning blast for the last thing, if even used. So that's my first round salvo.
All right. Well, a questions was brought up. What is Black Adam's intelligence level exactly? How smart is he?
He's definitely 3 to 4. I mean, he's wise
It's part
because
of
of
his
the
intelligence.
years, but he's definitely 3 or 4 levels under. I think in terms of like intellect,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's 3 or 4 levels under Norman Osborn. Because
I mean,
Osborn,
don't they tie it to like one of the Egyptian gods? Like he's got the wisdom or like
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
he's got the ability to he's kind of got like his own spidey sense in a way, or like sense of things that could happen, or he
yeah.
sees the
He's got
battlefield in
some
a
of
different
that. I think he's still like, when it comes to wits, I mean, he's smart. He's matched wits in the Villains United series. He matched wits well with Lex Luthor, so he is smart. I just don't think, like, intellect versus intellect, it would actually be like a villain like Lex Luthor that would match up to Norman Osborn.
way. I agree. Yeah, he's very
Yeah, and
yeah.
I think those two are devious, and I think Black Adam, when they had their battle of the wits, their confrontation, he just tried to cut through it, and he told Lex Luthor, he said, stop with your words, flatterer. That's not like, he's just very direct, and not that that's like a sign of a lower intellect. I think it's just he's just not as advanced as like this small, group of like 4 or 5 people. Like, you've got Batman, you've got Lex Luthor, you've got Tony Stark, um, and then a couple of others in that upper echelon. But it's, in terms of intellect. But yeah, I think it's just, well, and even Osborn and Stark are more genius level than they are, just very studied and disciplined like Batman. So,
yeah.
so yes,
Nor, like,
yeah.
how much is it was hard to like discern how much of Norman's genius does he owe to the Goblin serum? Like,
Well, I'm not sure. I think he was already a genius beforehand. I
Yeah,
think
like a
the
speed
Goblin
up with it.
serum made
but
him
like I know it
more
enhanced
insane.
it, but I don't know. It seemed like it enhanced it in like the more psychotic avenues.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess,
Yeah.
kind of like in the Captain America movie, the formula made Red Skull more, not better, just
Yeah,
more.
yeah,
So
Right, right.
he was smart. His insanity was already kind of there, and the Goblin formula just turned it up to 11 or 12. So, but that's funny enough. That was part of my point here too. Is again, Black Adam is extremely powerful, but Green Goblin is extremely intelligent and extremely crazy. It's like,
yeah. And if you,
let's go into a small cage, the couple of rabid raccoons, and it's good luck winning. So
yeah, and a lot of the times that Billy Batson has defeated Black Adam, it's been through those little like tricks of like those little witty tricks. So it's like
Yeah.
if you punch through that magic, it's and that if you bring that magic down, it's game over.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think like I think in even one of the stories, like Shazam appealed to the Egyptian gods to try to depower Black Adam. I mean, if Norman could find some way to finagle some backroom dealings with like Egyptian gods to, you know,
Mhm.
to either usurp his powers or depower him, it would be crazy. But I think that would really be um, his only clear path to victory is backroom dealings up to the point where he's got a real shot at taking away his magic.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Any special points that either of you want to spring up? Because I only had a few of my discussions. I've almost made. So I don't want I try not to be too much said favor on two sides, you know. So any arguments or special things, you know, tricks Norman wants to bring up, you know. You mentioned you talked earlier about a Rock of Eternity and all that, and making pumpkin bombs out of it. So
Yeah, I think if you can weaponize that and you know lay him low, that's a whole different ballgame. I know in Jeff Johns' Justice League too, Ultraman just in a one-on-one fight broke his jaw and then dumped him in the ocean, and Black Manta had to grab him up, but he wasn't able to call down his magic anymore. I don't know if you can somehow break Black Adam's jaw. That's what I'm saying, but he would have to be on another level of strength physically and you know with all the enhancements. But yeah, something like that you could put in the air to where like almost Dark Knight returns him, you know, with a kryptonite arrow. Put something in the air where you can weaken him and then get in there and try to get your shot, maybe break his jaw or do some type of damage. But it's a very harrowing prospect going up against him one on one. You know, like Carlos said, you know, I can have all the arm in the world on. It's only going to last for so long. So, you know, that's basically that. You know, you try to build yourself up just so you can withstand it enough to try to depower him some type of way. You need some type of magic dampener or magic. In one of the Flashpoint offshoots, some guy gets vocal encryption tech, and you know, he's got this real vague explanation, but he basically can say Shazam. He steals the phrase from him. But I don't know. Something like that seems pretty fetch.
Weapon X asks, does Green Goblin steal Stark technology and use the Hulkbuster on Black Adam?
That'd be dope, but I feel like it'd be the same. It'd be like only a matter of time before he's ripping through it.
Well, I mean, because I really think the strategy with Green Goblin is buying time. It's all about, but like if he could stack armors, like with the Hulkbuster, and then have the Iron Patriot armor augmented with scroll tech inside of that, and then have the pumpkin bombs or even like some kind of pumpkin bomb. No, like a Gatling gun that had bullets laced with Rock of Eternity powder or something.
Yeah, like War Machine type deal. Just have
right. Yeah. Because I think it's all about just buying time until he can get him in close or just angering him. Because that's the thing I was looking at was like the biggest weakness that Black Adam has, and this is one of the things that I was not as I think he has a bit of a temper and can get drawn in that way. And I think that, you know, the movie played him as cool and kind of collected, but I think there's been enough instances when he's just raged out that he could get clouded. And I think that's the moment when somebody like Norman Osborn is able to really like just whatever his ace in the hole is. That's
you'd have to have like a magic back door for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, the movie. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
Okay, but the movie with Black Adam did show he was, I mean, not so much cool. I wasn't paying attention so much, but Black Adam did seem more of a face first, head first into the solution too. You know, he confronted the problem face on. Norman Osborn, we've always seen him, who's always playing in the background, is sinister and all. He doesn't just jump into the fight. So yeah, this fight, if it were to happen in real life, wouldn't be just a here comes two guys just looking for each other. Norman is going to be planning things out first, to where he's going to try to make sure he wins. Whereas Black Adam,
I think he's going to mess with like the citizens of Kahndaq. I think that's the quickest way to Black Adam's heart.
Yeah. Okay.
I
hadn't thought of that.
You know, try to do some CIA like Ghost War, you know, rebel coup type stuff, or you know, just spark your own genocide there. Because it doesn't seem like Black Adam has anybody super close to him that he's gonna. There was ISIS, but you know, I don't know what he can. It seems like he kind of turned that switch on and off. But if the citizens of Kahndaq, that feels like the one soft spot where you could. That could be like the beginning seeds of Norman's plan, like, and then like Carlos said, try to have, you know, be encased in everything, lead him to some spot where you got some backdoor he's not ready for. Let him rope-a-dope you, take out all his anger, and then
Yeah.
hit him with the unexpected magical backdoor depower.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of the citizens of Kondak, because that would absolutely be an Achilles heel. Absolutely,
Yeah.
because he prizes his status as a ruler so highly that that would absolutely be something that he would that would mess with him. And and again, I think he's susceptible to emotion. I
Yeah,
think so,
absolutely.
because there is precedent for it in the comics that he's succumbed to that. And that's the thing, is I think one with superior intellect, with in a situation where they've got enough time to prep, and if he's the instigator, he's got it laid out. But I think if it's a situation where it's the two of them just thrown together and fighting, I think, to me, Black Adam is the clear winner. But I think every minute of prep that Osborn gets, and it weighs the scales back the other way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. If it was just a show up showdown, I think Norman would be in a lot of trouble. If he had
I like the show up
time,
Yeah.
if he had zero prep time, it would not be a pretty sight.
Although I haven't limited it to you. You could argue, technically speaking, which Norman or which Green Goblin you're talking about. In Ultimate Spider-Man, the later
Yeah,
Green Goblin
Yes,
is essentially immortal. So
yes.
therefore, Black Adam isn't, or is he? I don't know. But so if you can't kill Green Goblin, how can you defeat him?
Right. See, and that's what I thought. And I had thought about that too, because the Ultimates universe Green Goblin, even from the beginning, was a far cry from the 616 one.
Mhm.
I mean, much more savage, power
Yeah.
set way higher, just a lot more to contend with. And so I
Yeah,
think,
just from that first attack at the high school, you knew it was a different animal.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was definitely very different. So
Yeah.
so that was something I'd also, I'd kind of wondered about, but I was like, okay, I don't want to tip that hand in case unless it gets brought up.
Oh, well, I was thinking about putting him in the armor, but I thought the Carnage symbiote would, help with regeneration. But yeah, you're right. He is technically immortal. So yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that would be a better
It's
bet.
just one of those fun little discussions you had. I mean, maybe that's one of the reasons why I like the Ultimate Green Goblin, and all he reminded me of Dragon Ball Z as a kid and transforming into Super Saiyan kind of a thing. So just maybe that's why I like the character. It
Man, that
plays
Ultimate series.
it plays to my childhood in a way.
Oh man, that Ultimate series is one of the best things I've ever had. That was just such a legendary.
True. Yeah, so you got intelligence and cunning and crazy on one end, and you got raw sheer power on the other with the wisdom of the Egyptian gods or whatever it is. So it's very interesting to see this whole mentality. Although since Black Adam is ruler of his own country, I guess, like Doctor Doom and Latveria, would he venture too much of it, or is it more like my domain, I'm here, or is he going to venture too much? Because if he's not going to venture too far away from his home turf, Green Goblin can almost come to him, which could play to it could play to both their advantages, technically speaking. Just
Yeah.
how you depends on how you play it. It all depends on where this fight would actually take place.
Right. Yeah. That's a big thing. It's like the circumstances of the fight and the location of the fight have a lot to do with it. Because I think depending on which writer it is, Black Adam is not. Some of them write him being out and about for different reasons, but I think his status quo is to live in Kondak and just be there and just hang out there. I think he's actually I think he's kind of like a little bit of a homebody, I don't think he plays too
Yeah, I
far.
think so too.
Yeah, and I
I
think
think have it his way. He's not leaving. He's not crossing outside of Kondak, country lines if he has to.
Yeah.
I think if Norman shows up in Kondak, at that point it might be too late for Black Adam, or a bad situation for Black Adam. If Black Adam shows up in New York, then it's way too late.
Well,
Unannounced.
here's something that had occurred to me. There is like kind of an alternate dimension battle that takes place where not a single blow is thrown.
Hmm.
It nothing physical about it, because Norman, I could see him going like the UN route and finding a way to impose economic sanctions on Kondak,
Yes.
cutting them off, and just squeezing until Black Adam, like, I mean, because he can't just fly
That's
over
what I
and
was,
hit him without well, I mean, I guess he could fly
that's
over
what I
and
was
hit him.
saying earlier, and like
Yeah.
get on the ground there, like CIA, and like get a little,
Yeah,
grassroots rebellion going against, who is this guy? It's time for a change,
My fellow
Pretty cool.
nations, the Kingdom of Kandar has gray number 3. We must sanction conduct.
exactly. And it's like, well, yeah, and then I mean, and then do proxy wars where you're using bordering nations to even cause tension and like you were saying, super CIA, where he doesn't even have boots on the ground. He's just manipulating like a chessboard in that region, and putting this immense pressure on Black Adam. I mean, he's even got it within the realm of his ability to negotiate or sway. I mean, he could even do stuff about the weather and change weather
Yeah,
patterns
that would be
to,
so Norman too. That would be
yeah.
such a Norman.
Definitely a lot of fun. I hadn't thought of that whole UN portion. It brings up the whole that last season or two of Young Justice.
Yeah.
An interesting aspect there. You never realize how what monkey wrench in the machinery, politics can be at
Yeah,
times. So.
there's a fantastic Fantastic Four issue where Doctor Doom gets the Fantastic Four kicked out of Latveria by Henry Kissinger because they're violating the terms of space.
Yeah.
And Doom's like, I'm glad I knew the American government would understand it and side with me. It's so great. Like,
Well, that's a very fun aspect there. You got you got one of your villains, a ruler of his own country. They're his laws, and by the laws of the world and the UN and the kind of rights of theirs, that I can be within my bounds legally to say, get the out of here,
yeah,
and don't let the door hit you behind you.
Right.
So it's a
absolutely.
fun aspect to mention it. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we got 23 minutes, 22 minutes before the voting link officially ends and no one else can vote. So get your votes in there if you have anyone else in the chat and all that. So vote, because we can end this at any time. We're done arguing, but the voting will officially end in 20 minutes. So all that. So any further points any of you wish to add? Conduct politics in the mix, what's that, a state dinner or the giant size pitchforks, ultimate Green Goblin uses at the dinner table.
I'd
Yeah,
I'd
I don't
I'd
know.
love
I
to
could definitely
see.
see him.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go. You're good.
No, I was just gonna say I'd love to see actually a situation arise where the two of them had to team up for some reason. That would be pretty. Yeah, that would be pretty. Yeah, no, it just that reminds me of that mini series I referenced earlier, Villains United. It was during the 52 series. It was around that time, that the year, I think it was like 2005 or 6, and it was basically the villains all came together to create a society, because they found out about the Justice League doing the mind wipe thing, because that was like a big storyline for a while in DC Comics. And so you had Black Adam serving on the leadership steering board alongside Lex Luthor and alongside the Calculator, who was like, he was a nobody before I think Brad Meltzer got a hold of him and they turned him into a somebody, where he basically
That's awesome.
he sells information. That's all he does. And
That's
yes, but it makes me think of that, where you'd have a situation like, what if there was a situation where you had these guys and they had to team up, because there was definitely friction in that, even in the leadership group. And then you think about the broader range of DC villains. They even said at one point, they said, you realize that 30% of our ranks are legitimate certifiable psychopaths, like crazy,
Yeah.
and trying to hold that together. Yeah. So
Yes.
the idea of Black Adam and Norman Osborn playing politics just sounds like, oh, that sounds
Man,
like
that sounds great. Seriously. I would definitely.
I could do this all day.
that's it right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, just very interesting. It's, I mean, I guarantee you would lose any. We have no one in the chat watching that. But it'd be fun as hell. I mean, for political nerds like myself, it would be fun as hell to argue comic book politics.
Yes.
Definitely a lot of fun there.
Yeah, it might. Yeah, you're right though. It might be tumbleweeds blowing through the chat room on that.
Yeah. I had a call briefly that showed up there. I had to cancel because it was loud in my ears. Yeah. Well, I have nothing further to add. I've had all my fun points here. So unless you guys have any surprise punches you want to bring out here, we could almost start to wrap things up.
No, man, I'm all set. This was
Yeah,
fun.
I had everything. I already said
Awesome.
everything.
All right. Well, Stu, take it away with Green Goblin's closing arguments.
All right, like I said before, I mean, the psychotic genius who's been manipulating, plotting, killing everybody near and dear to Peter Parker since the 60s. Vote for one of the most immortal, coolest villains of all time, who's got way better movie appearances, way better comics, and way better plans at the end of the day. The plans are what's going to get it done. Black Adam is too impulsive. And Norman is too, but he's always impulsive for a reason. So vote for Green Goblin. Guys, thank you so much for having me. This was a blast. I was nervous about how this was going to go, but I had a great time. So thanks again.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate having you on as always. Having you on anyway. So, Carlos, take it away with Black Adam's closing statement.
All right. The biggest thing I would say is please don't hold the movie against Black Adam. I think he's a great villain. He's a lot of fun. And if I had my druthers, I absolutely would have introduced him in the first Shazam, and he would have been a major character for the trilogy, at least for the film part. And then I think in the comic books, he's a very cool character. I've enjoyed reading him and his different appearances, especially to be honest, I think he's at his strongest when he is interplaying with heroes, because he provides such a complex antithesis to them. So it's neat to watch him rubbing shoulders with heroes, even though he's not a hero. And watch that interplay, but then also watching him amongst his fellow villains and how he relates to them. I think all in all, he's an incredibly powerful character, literally a god among men. And so please make sure and vote for him. One quick thing I want to make sure and say, for those who are familiar with Carl's Collects Comics and the programming over there, and Paul, my co-host on the giveaway show, our Wednesday night live stream, a vote for Black Adam is a vote against Paul. So if you want to vote against Paul, vote for Black Adam.
Awesome.
Thank you, Paul.
A lot of fun.
Right.
So while I give the beforehand, would you guys like to see a hypothetical fight between Black Adam and Ultimate Green Goblin? I found it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would go something like this. Where is it? I had it. Here it is. And it end with
Puny God.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Awesome. Well, I had
Completely
definitely a lot of
accurate.
fun here. So I'll send the link one more time here. And remember, guys, as you get out, if any of you haven't voted yet, just remember that
We are who we choose to be. Now choose.
so I had a little too much fun with extra
Keep
clips.
Right.
Well, so I had a lot of fun here. All right, so yeah, get the link out there. We'll let a minute or two pass, and then we'll bring the link up, and then we'll just see who ultimately move on to face. Well, I guess you guys are the first. Whoever wins this is the winners of the first round here. So actually, let me bring up the picture here while we're waiting on everyone to vote. So let's see. I'm going to share my own screen. Window there. So what's going to happen is the winner moves forward into round 2, and he will face either Venom or Galactus.
Oh wow.
So that is
Jeez.
how the wheel sorts itself out. I love using the wheel to select the randomization for them and all that. I get the best matchups and all that, and I cannot be blamed if one side might be a little lopsided at times.
Right.
So, but you get the best
Okay.
matchups like Ra's al Ghul versus Darth
Yeah,
Vader.
I just saw that. That is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I get the best matchups like Kang versus Doctor Doom, brilliant. Joker
Yeah,
versus
that was a
Loki.
great one. That was really good.
The
I
Skynet
don't know,
versus
like
Reverse Flash. That's
the
brilliant.
absurdity of this matchup though made me dig harder and do more research though. So in that aspect, it's a payoff.
Yeah. All right, so let's bring up the link, the page here. While we give it a few more seconds here for people to finish voting. Again, I have not checked the link because I like to be surprised, but I look forward to this being so. Good luck to both of you, and I look forward to seeing both of you, but one of you in the second round here, and the other one's welcome back anytime. So this is definitely a lot of fun. I had to have one Spider-Man related character in every season. That's like a rule for me. I have to have Spider-Man in somehow. And so I'm like going, all villains, I need a villain. Venom can work. I gotta have Green Goblin. Gotta have Green Goblin. Please someone pick him and all that. So my wife is staring at me for some reason. No, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Oh, she wants money from me. I don't like this anymore.
Oh.
All right. Well, drum roll, please. The winner of episode 7 is. Thank you, hun. Black Adam with 20 votes. Green Goblin with 17. And
Congrats, Carlos.
congrats, Carlos. But because I'm such a big Spider-Man fan, I did prep this just in case.
But you can't do this to me. You know how much I sacrificed?
That was awesome.
I had to have it.
That
just
was
in case.
fantastic. That's perfect.
I'm just going.
Man.
I'm going. I need good quotes for Green Goblin. I'm going like, oh,
Yeah,
that'll.
I'm almost glad I lost now. That was such perfect timing.
That was awesome. I'd forgotten about it, but he's so good in that original one. Yeah.
Yeah, I just.
That
Yeah.
face, man, he's made to play a villain like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just
And then
had to
laugh.
have it just in case. Just like I really hoped he wasn't gonna lose, but I was like,
I'm sorry to let you down, man.
It was close. No, it was close. That was
it's
close. That was a lot. That was very close. I was.
Yeah. Like I said,
Yeah.
you guys were both swapped leads at one time or another. Anyway, so congratulations to Black Adam. He moves forward to the second round to face either Venom or Galactus. So my wife is apparently supporting you, Carlos. Black Adam rocks. So yeah, she likes we both liked the movie, so we didn't see the hate that some people had for it. But anyway,
I liked it. I just know it was a film. I don't know, for some reason it drew the ire of a whole kind of chunk of comic fandom.
yeah, well, I also didn't understand the whole thing with the Quantum Mania. Maybe I'm just a little too easy to please with movies. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is fun.
Yeah.
Yay! And everyone else and people are like going, this absolutely sucked. I'm sitting there going like, did I go to the same movie? So it's just,
On, my biggest complaint, honestly, with the movie was I wish they had not killed off Dr. Fate, the Pierce Brosnan Dr. Fate, because I've man, there's some roles that are perfectly cast, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
I wish they'd
Yeah.
kept him around.
Yeah.
And they got that look, and they nailed that look. That was.
Oh,
I mean, the
dude,
supporting
yeah.
cast was great. I agree with what you said about putting him in Shazam. I think if they had tied that together,
Mhm.
that could have been something special. But
I love seeing the JSA on screen, but yeah, I mean, I really wish that they had tied him. You know, that Dwayne Johnson hadn't kept him from being utilized in
Yeah.
Shazam, because I think that would have added a lot to the Shazam film. It wouldn't have helped at the box office, but
Mhm.
because they made huge blunders with the villains for the second movie. They had it set up in the first one, and it was going to be solid with Mr. Mind and teaming up with Dr. Savannah, but I don't know, making up the original characters, I was kind of like, you guys have a lot of Shazam lore to pull from. You know,
yeah,
they could have done a lot with it. And
Okay.
I mean, you know, it wasn't a bad movie. It was just like, I wish they had gone, you know, more comic lore.
Awesome.
What's up, Cody?
Well, congratulations again to Carlos for winning. Be sure to sub up Carlos and myself on YouTube, and also like Carlos, myself, and Dr. Doom's fan club on Instagram. I will actually bring up our logos. The logos here, you can find his logo there on IG. It looks like that. So yeah, and I can't forward to wait because I crossed 800 subscribers, so I'm on the final sprint to 1,000 because I cannot
Nice.
wait to get to 1,000 subscribers, because this is the prize for 1,000 subscribers.
Wow.
So fantastic.
Nice.
449. For anybody who wants it, sub me up on YouTube, and be ready to enter because I have the Drive to 1,000 giveaway there. But yeah, that's the prize I decided 500 subscribers ago, and I keep on saying I need to buy myself another copy before I get rid of that. But anyway, so yeah, that's it for that. So be sure to tune in next time, guys, for episode 8. It has not been scheduled yet, but it will be soon. It will be Venom versus Galactus, another Spider-Man guy that I'm gonna have to. Will be a little easier to not rep because he's not as big as Green Goblin is to me, but it will still be. My wife says Venom will win, so but I look forward to having you on again, Carlos, and again, Stu. You're welcome on anytime for exhibition matchups and season 5. You know, you're more than welcome to be back on season 5. If you have a certain character you would like to rep and argue, you know, I can see if he fits my plans coming up here, and I'll throw him in there. And
What's do you have a theme for season 5 yet? I know you're
season
doing
5.
all those. Are you switching it up to something different next season? Or?
Season 5, I'm torn between, you know, battle of the sexes, you know, men on one side, women on the other, and then the championship matchup is who's better, you know, because obviously, you know, who's the best, you know, who's the better man or woman at the very end. So, and then that or Marvel versus DC, but or I keep them kind of segregated, you know, until the final round, and then it's the who wins kind of a thing. So that's my two I'm going through my mind. Of course, what I want to do too is I want to have a guest on the show for a guest host where we guys almost pick a team in a sense, and who could pick the best team kind of a thing, you know, that regard. So it's just I'm playing with all sorts of different ideas. I keep on dreaming bigger and bigger each season. Eventually, I'm going to run out of ideas, but until then, I'm having fun.
Who wants to battle me and Captain Marvel?
My wife really wants to argue the male Captain Marvel. She thinks he's vastly superior to the female Captain Marvel.
Of course he is.
Which male Captain Marvel? Well,
Marvel. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So she has almost a complete collection of the first volume. She has one issue
Oh, wow.
that she needs in that original series left that I've helped her collect, and so I'm very proud.
I'm trying to be with you.
Yeah, she's trying to be with me. So anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. We've almost been an hour. Stay tuned for the next episode of the Knockout, everyone. it's gonna be another blast. This time it's all Marvel, so a lot of fun. So take care and happy collecting, everyone. See you guys later. Have a good night.
Later, guys.